the one and only the one and only Norman Skinner from Niviane. My friend, you're a legend.
I like the way that you pronounce the band name. So we've heard like every rendition of it, but I've never heard Niviane. Oh, that's a new one.
So, oh my God, there are let me tell you, I've been like waiting for this I've been chomping at the bit for this for the past 3 weeks.
Okay.
So, okay, so I just want to get this. I have to get this out of the way. Um, who are your heroes? Who do you um who are your inspirations when you play your music
Vocally,
vocally
vocally
or
for
all the
me.
way around?
Okay. So from the very beginning, when I was young, it was like Robert Plant from and then I started getting into more prog singers like James LaBrie from Dream Theater and Ray Alder from Fates Warning. But really, I think some of my core sound would be like Matt Barlow from X Iced Earth, now in Ashes of Aries, and then like Rob Halford, of course, Judas Priest. But along those lines, a little bit of the classic mixed with some power is kind of where I go. And then I just throw my spin on everything. I like some heavier stuff, little like Kill Switch Engage. I like the little growls, even though I don't do it all the time. I just sprinkle it in. But yeah,
One of the things, oh lovely, there's an ice cream there's an ice cream truck that's coming by. Lovely. Okay.
it's
Right.
always a good time for ice cream.
Oh, it's a good time for ice cream. So one of the things I said off camera was that I was doing some research on your sound, and I posted this a little earlier on Facebook. That when you play, I sense a little bit of Nightwish with some classic metal like Dio or Dragon Force. I
Interesting.
think, and that was for what was it? The Druid King.
All right. Yeah, I mean, the idea for the band was to take traditional metal and then mix it with a European sound. So we're not as symphonic as say Nightwish. We're not very keyboard driven like they are. Even though we have a keyboard player, it's more in the back or more guitar driven. But you know, we definitely merge sounds. So yeah, you'll hear a little bit, and from song to song, it changes a little bit. But you'll hear little sprinkles of stuff. You listen to one Niviane song, and you're like, "Oh, I hear this," and then the next song comes on, you're like, "Well, now I kind of hear this." That's the idea. We don't want to put out stale albums where everything sounds the same, every song's the same. That just gets boring real fast.
Interesting enough, and actually this goes exactly what like you said, because in the Druid in the Druid King, I said the ones that I told you about, and then what was it? There was in your second album. One of the songs actually has the opening, or what sounds like the opening from "Bullet for My Valentine," suffocating through heartache. I think that's what it was called. But the interesting thing is that you bounced from like this classic sword shield melodic over to like this rift, and it was like, whoa, what the heck just happened? You went from one style to the other, and exactly like you said, you went from style to style, and that's actually pretty and at least around here it's very different. I noticed that I guess you could call yourself local technically. Could you call yourself a local
I
band
mean,
technically?
we're a Sacramento based band, so I mean every band's a local to where they're at, right?
That's true.
Even though we do national tours and we have a worldwide audience, we're kind of on a when we play local shows, we're kind of like a big fish in a little pond, right? We're always asked to
There you
headline,
go.
so we've kind of reached a certain level, but there's a big difference between getting from there to the next big level. But yeah, we're local. Like we don't like for instance, we charge very little to play local shows versus when we're on, if we were to go tour or play festivals, we would ask for a lot more money.
Oh, that's true. You get this festival.
Yeah, and stuff. So, but here, locally, it's like, hey, we're playing for friends mainly, right, and fans, but a lot more of our friends. So we want to have a good time.
There you go. That's a good way of putting it. Given the fact that a lot of given the fact that a lot of big, I don't say big local bands, but I guess you could say the big local bands are basically on that track. It's very much like, hey, I'm going out for friends and family. I'll charge a little bit of money here and there for, getting back home, gas money. I don't know how many times I've said, hey, dude, how much you charge? You go, dude, how much can you pay? How much can you pay for gas money?
Right.
So,
yeah. I mean, take even a bigger band, right? I mean, they like to have, some local shows, Christmas shows they do and stuff here in San Francisco, because, that's where they don't forget their core fans and friends that live here. So we're kind of the same. We could easily be one of those bands that goes, well, we're on this level now, so we need to play these local shows. Let's just wait for our tours and play big shows only. We're like, fuck that. We want to have some fun. We want to book the regular shows. We want to have a good time, and because this is where it all started for us.
That is actually very, that. What is it? That actually actually connects to your loyals, if you want to put it that way. Those that are loyal to you, you're loyal back, and that's actually in a way kind of a what do you call it? That's kind of it's a connection thing. People that are connected to you, you're connected back, and it shows that you are not just involved in the fame. You know what I mean? You're more as you are connecting in your success, which I do want to give you commend. I have heard that you have been signed to some record companies, if I'm not mistaken.
A bunch over my career. I've had a lot of record contracts. So yeah.
One of them, actually, if I'm not mistaken, has been one of the major ones that a ton of big bands are actually in. A ton of touring bands are in right now. Can you tell us which one that was?
I don't know. It could have been any. We were with Crash Music, Mausoleum Records, Pure Steel Records, Locomotive. I mean, it depends on which project. I've sang in so many bands over the years, and I've had so many contracts. So, every time you join a label, they have a different roster at a time. You know what I mean? So that's really hard to pinpoint.
Oh, that's true. You're actually in a couple of different bands. You're in Imagika. You're in Niviane. I don't know if I said that right now.
Well, I hear it every way. We pronounce it Niviane, but
Niviane.
But we hear it different ways wherever we go. So, like I said, we don't really correct people anymore. We just let people say it however they think it sounds.
I thought it had more like a European sound to it, like was it? I said Niviane.
Yeah, you made it sound more flashier than it is.
So you are in with Niviane. You're in with Imagika. Again, I'm not sure if I said that right.
No, that's right.
You're in Hellmouth, isn't that what it is?
HellScream.
And then there was one other. I think there was one other. It's like
So the rundown is there's Niviane, which is my main band. That's the band that I, tour with and rehearse every week with. Then there's Imagika. Now Imagika I was with them from 2004 to about 2010, and then we had a bad breakup, but we got back together as a studio project and released an album 2 years ago now. So that was that was album number 8 for us, I believe. So I'm still with Imagika. And then HellScream is a studio project. I have 2 albums out. That's basically a. Have you ever heard of the band Cage or the band The Three Tremors? So if
I
you've heard,
can't say I have, but that doesn't mean that doesn't change its importance.
so HellScream is basically that band, except with me singing instead of Sean Peck.
Oh,
Uh,
cool.
yeah, The Three Tremors is they have 3 singers: Sean Peck, the guy from Harry Conklin from Jack Panzer, and Tim Ripper Owens from Judas Priest. So
Oh, sick.
instead of them singing, it's just me, but it's the same band. Then I have a recording project called Elemantis, which is
Elemental. That's the one I was thinking of. I couldn't come up with the word, but yes, that one. Elemental.
yeah, and that's got multiple guest singers, multiple drummers, bunch of different guitar players. So it's a big collaboration project. 22 tracks being written and recorded for the first album, and then of course I have my solo album being now. So technically
Right.
5 projects going on right now, besides
Right.
side film
You're
work and
also
stuff.
doing solo.
Yeah,
I
always
have to
doing.
say you have a sorry you have a lot on your plate.
Always,
Wow.
yeah. I like to stay busy. I think it keeps me out of trouble and keeps my good, my imaginative juices flowing, so to speak. Keeps
There
my
you
chops
go.
up. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, I guess starting on that, tell us a little bit about Druid. Tell us a little bit about Druid King, if you want to go like a little bit down the line.
The first album, Druid King. I mean, that's where it all began for us, right? We got together in 2015, and then we released that album in 2017, I believe. Yeah, so we released the album in 2017. We didn't have a record contract at the time. We didn't have management. And what we did is we recorded the album ourselves. You know, we decided to put out our song "The Berserker." This is before we shot a video for it. We just had, a little lyric video we made ourselves, where it's just the picture and the words would appear or whatever. And we put it up on YouTube, and it's got like 10,000 views, and everyone was like, "This is awesome power metal." And so we got picked up by management, our old management, for a little while, and then we got assigned to Pitch Black Records out of Greece, and they released the album. And then we did 2 tours to support that album in North America. Our first tour was with Sirenia and Threat Signal, and that was a U.S. tour. And then we did a U.S. and Canadian tour with Vicious Rumors later, both in 2018. So then we came back and we were like, shit, we never did a video for anything. So we're like, damn, we need to do a video. So we almost near the end of the album, we shot the music video, the big Viking epic music video for the Berserker. And then that was our way to wrap. Yeah. So we wrapped it up, and that was everything for that. We went from just starting to, having management and record company and worldwide fans and all this stuff on the first album. So that was great. And then it was time to move on to the Ruthless Divine, which is our new one. So
The Ruthless Divine was the one that has a different feel to it. Actually, one of them that I noticed that with not only the sound of "Bullet for My Valentine" with the guitars, you actually have a kind of like a hymn sound towards a few of the songs. His Infernal Majesty, you have like that dark, low monotone voice in one or two of the songs. So tell us about that. Where did that idea come from?
I don't know. I don't think of like, hey, I want to make a song sound a certain way or do anything. The writing process is currently we have 3 guys in the band that write, both guitar players and the bass player. And what they'll do is they'll write a song, they'll demo some drums with like a program or something, and then they'll upload it into the software that we use. It's like a project management tool. So we'll have, at any given time, we might have 7 to 9 song ideas just sitting there. Then it's up to me. I take them, I listen to them over and over. Then I sort of Benny Hanna the shit out of them, right? I tear them apart. I restructure them the way that I think it'll work. Then I write lyrics, I put melodies to it, send it back to the band going, this one's done, here's the demo recording, and then we vote, and then whichever ones get the highest votes are the ones that we work to put on the album. The ones that get too low votes, they get scrapped, and we just use the lyrics later or use the riff in another song. So that's kind of the way it works. So when I'm writing a song, I think maybe I listen to him. I like a lot of him, but I don't like. I don't consciously think, I want to have a him sounding voice. But I can see maybe on like the song like Niviane or Psychomantium, it is more of a. It does kind of have that feel. I never really thought of it that way, but yeah, I can see where you would hear that. But once again, my entire life growing up, I've listened to a wide range of rock and metal. You remember back in the day? I don't know how old you are, but I'm old. I'm old as fuck.
I'm about 31. I might be a little bit younger than you.
you're yeah. I got over a decade.
I'm sorry.
So yeah. We used to make these little mixtapes back in the day, right? So you take a tape that a blank tape, cassette tape, or a tape from like for instance, I had a Milli Vanilli tape that I found. So what I did is I put tape over the little people that watch this that remember the stuff, they'll laugh. If you wanted to record over it, you would just put a little piece of scotch tape over the two tabs, and you could record over the tape with whatever you wanted. So I would make these mixtapes. Yeah, so I would just put the tapes in, and it would literally go like from the first song would be something by Tesla, and then the next one would be Testament. Then I'd have like Obituary, and then Bon Jovi. I mean, it was really all over. So I got used to singing in my car very early, switching the style up. And I like so many different sounds. Yeah, I like so many different sounds that when it comes time to record, I hear different kinds of riffs and stuff. I don't sing just one way. I just kind of change. And that's how I got the nickname the Metal Chameleon. That's why the press calls me that. It's because I change the style of my voice and the way I sing in different songs. So
that's actually a decent way to train your voice. I mean, I was talking with who was I talking with? I think I was talking with Joe Salazar, believe it or not. Cool, really cool guy. And he was telling me a lot about how to like change your voice when you're doing when you're not just doing singing, but a little bit of voice acting. When I was first doing HexHeart promotions, I was creating like a character type thing, like a mascot, and I would be attempting to change my voice back and forth, and a lot of it was really difficult for me because I'm not used to talking like this or anything like that. It's just not. It's not easy for someone that's like you have been molding your voice back and forth from either different songs or different styles. So that is actually a very, not just decent, but a very rewarding way to train your voice, because in that way you actually have what is it called? You have memory. You have
muscle memory.
Yeah, you have voice memory. So when you are switching back and forth, like, oh, okay, so this is how I made this sound, and then over here this is how I made that sound, and that's actually pretty cool. Honestly, I have to say, like, that's a good way of doing it. That's a cool story.
It's definitely tough. I mean, there are a lot of studio tricks, right? I mean, there's bands where a lot of I'll hear them. I'm into a lot of like the Scandinavian metal bands up there, and you'll hear bands like I don't want to call anyone out, but you'll hear them where they're on the album, they're doing like these straight growling, and then they switch over to singing, and it sounds great. But then you go and see them live, and they can't quite pull it off. So for me, at least, if you come to a Niviane show, what you hear on the album is what you're going to hear live. I mean, at 1 second, I'm going to be belting out some, low grit, and then I'm going to bring up the falsetto clean, and I'll switch to something melodic, and then I'll throw in some depth. Right. But you know what? It's whatever I record, I want to make sure I can do live as well. Otherwise, it's kind of a cop out, right? Just studio tricks.
Yeah, just do whatever works, right?
Sure.
But yeah, actually, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, so tell me about your tell me how many times that you toured.
I don't know. uh, God, I don't know. Maybe 7 tours I can think of off the top of my head. I might be missing one or two, but yeah. I mean, like I said, I've been doing this for a long time. I got my first like club level band with worldwide demo fans and shit right way back in like '95. So it's been a long time. So I mean, I see show flyers that people post up on like Facebook and stuff, and I'm just like, I don't remember that show at all, at all. I'm like, hopefully it was fun, but so it's funny. There's certain things that will stick out very vividly, and then the rest there's a things where it just
Could
becomes.
you? There you go. So, can you tell us any stories that stick out from any of these tours?
So, well, I mean, here's one. This is way back. This was an Imagika tour, and it was a very hit and miss tour at the time. Meaning, you would go some places and it would be a crap show, and then the next one would be just packed and awesome, right? But we went to our we went to play this place called the Samurai Duck in Oregon, Eugene, Oregon, and it was half sushi bar, half metal club, which was interesting in itself.
And then you got a metal band after it.
Right, and it was insane. Like people were going nuts, and I remember some girl came on stage and she took her shirt off and she was dancing crazy. And the drummer in the band before us had thrown up on the stage, so that sucks. But all these crazy things were happening. Well, the owner was this really short, little old Japanese lady, and she came up with like 2 pitchers of beer during the show and just like shoved them on the stage, and we're like, "That's cool." Well, afterwards they shut the place down, and she didn't speak English, but her son, he said, "Hey, my mom wants you to stick around. She wants to know if she can get a picture for behind the bar." And we're like, "Yeah." We sign it, we give her a picture, and we're getting ready to pack up, and he's like, "Oh no, wait, we're gonna drink." And we're like, "Okay." So they put a bunch of little shot glasses up, right? And she pulls out, or he did. One of them pulls out this like big giant mason jar. We're talking like as wide as me and like this big, all right? And it's full of just clear liquid and a giant snake, dead snake, just floating in it. So my guitar player's like, "What?" And they're like, "Yeah, we're gonna do shots." And we're like, "Well, what is it?" They're like, "Oh, it's just rice wine, but this is illegal here in the United States." We're like, "Okay." So we're on like our third shot, and my drummer's like, "Why are my lips numb? Like I can't feel my lips." And he's like, "Oh, that's the poison seeping into the rice wine
Oh my god.
from the poisonous asp fermenting in it." So you're like drinking like poisonous rice wine shots at this club. So that was interesting. That's one story that kind
Did
of
you have to go to the hospital or anything like that?
no, but we were messed up. The longer we we were pretty messed up that
Did
night.
you at least get the name of the snake?
I think he said it was a poisonous asp. So I don't know what kind of asp,
Yeah.
but it was an asp. I just don't know what kind.
Those are bad. Those are bad when they bite you. Oh my god.
Yeah, so that was an interesting one of those things that you didn't expect. Like I think another tour, it was also an Imagika tour because that was back in my more wild days. My Niviane tours are very tame. We're very professional and we do shenanigans, but nothing crazy. But back in Imagika, it was like smoking and drinking. And we played a place in Reading. It was the first day of the tour kickoff, and we show up, and it was called Bubba Thrashers, I think was the name of the place. And
Wow.
literally, we played for 4 people, and 2 of those people were the bartenders, and 2 of the other people were from the first band. So
Oh man.
we're like, this sucks. This tour is gonna suck. Everything's gonna suck. But what's funny is the 2 guys from the first band ended up buying like $70 worth of our merchandise and gave my drummer a big bag of weed. So we're like, Guess it works out anyway.
Well, we just had 420. Why not?
So, some fun stuff. There's a lot of crazy stuff I probably can't talk about for reason.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm actually seeing that you're having a homage to Kill Switch Engage. Actually,
Oh, my shirt. Yeah, it's just what I'm like any other metalhead, man. I got a closet full of black metal t-shirts.
Oh my god, dude, I feel you.
Right. So this just happened to be the one I grabbed as I woke up this morning and got dressed. So, but,
I like,
I am a big fan. So.
I have to ask. Do you you said something about adding guest guitarists and guest drummers to Imagika. Have you done any of the
You mean elemantis? But go on.
Elementis? Sorry, Elementis. Have you done any of the really big ones, like the ones on your shirt, like Kill Switch Engage or All That Remains, or any of those type of bands? Have you ever had those guests on your shows?
No. So we don't do many anything live, but for the album itself, I do have some very big guest vocalists that aren't announced yet, and a couple of guitar players that are in larger bands as well. So, but that everyone will have to wait.
Okay.
That's all secret still.
I got you. Well, the reason I was asking is that there's a lot of, for example, giving a shout out to Ananoctium down here at the other place. There was an opportunity where he would bring up while Johnny Helvete, I think I got his name right, would bring people.
I know Johnny.
Right, we would bring people up onto his stage, and one of them, I can't exactly remember his name, but he reminds me of Joe, actually, Joe Salazar. But he goes up on stage with them, and they both have the same dominant level when they growl. It was really intense, and it was like a Kodak moment. And I was wondering if you did something like that, like on your stage, like if you bring people up on stage or something like that.
I mean, I've done multiple things throughout the years. I mean, when I was in my sci-fi band, power metal band, Dire Apparel, which I'm no longer with them, we did a guest song with Brittany Slays from Unleash the Archers, and
nice.
So I wrote the song. She sang most of it, and then I did one verse, and I sang the choruses. But we were doing a show together, so we actually sang it together live once for the fans, so that they could hear the song that we had written together. So there was that. I did a couple birthday shows where I did all covers, like 4 sets of covers, and I brought up people from all around the Bay and Sacramento area to come and be guest singing with me, and guest drums, guest bass, all that stuff. Things like that. The singer of Vicious Rumors, when we were on tour in Canada, we were playing in it was like Manitoba, or I forget what the name of the city was, but we're up in there, and then I remember I had my in-ears in, but I could hear someone singing the chorus to Fires in the Sky, but it didn't quite sound right. And I'm like, that just sounds a little off and not right, and rocking out. And finally I look over at my guitar player, Gary, and I'm like, what the hell, dude? What the hell? I look over and it's the singer up there, and he just decided to jump up and sing with us. And but they snapped a picture of me looking at my guitar player, just like what? But I haven't. I get asked to do guest things here and there on people's albums, but I haven't really had anything where it's like, where I would bring up some big guest star to do something live. Really, I don't know. Just haven't really thought about it. Haven't planned anything out like that. I'm sure in the future, maybe do some more collaborations.
There you go. I had to say, from Unleash the Archer, she's a goddess. Like she's she's a legend, honestly. I have to say, you hit that one. That
Yeah,
was awesome.
I think
How
that
did that
song
go?
it was good. It was the guitar player reached out to her. I think he had a crush on her, honestly. And he's like,
What?
yeah, he's like, and even the cover of that album, it's called Queen of the Galaxy. The artist kind of drew the girl to look like her. And he's at first he wrote the song. He's like, hey, this is the music. I want it to be about this movie Barbarella. We're gonna call it Queen of the Galaxy. And I'm like, I've never seen that movie. Some '70s movie. And I went back and I watched it, so obviously I could get lyric ideas and everything. And it's a horrible movie. It's just about the space girl and go-go boots that gets like stuck in like an orgasm machine and just weird shits. But I wrote some good lyrics, and
Sounds
as
like
I was
anime to me.
I'm recording it, and I'm like, dude, I can't sing this. I mean, this should be sung by a female. And then the light went off, and he contacted her, and he wanted us to do it more of a duet style. But I wrote it so she would sing. Recorded it, and yeah, it went over really well. Super popular. I think it was the best-selling Dire Apparel album. So
That is intense. And that's cool. I love stories like that when like you accidentally or purposely connect with two other artists or one other artist. I love stories like that. So okay, so I've realized that I'm supposed to do this beforehand. I kind of missed the boat, but I'm gonna say it now. Can you tell us how to reach you, like social
that's
media
easy.
or anything like that?
Yeah, you know what? I actually have a website. So if you go to normanskinner.net, everything's there. I mean, right at the top, it has all the social media, little icons for Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and Spotify. And I even have a Spotify player on the front page that has everything I've ever released uh, that's online, like, 150 songs or 200 songs or something,
Yeah.
that people can listen to. But it's got everything. It's got all the videos, the news. It's just the easiest way is just to go to normanskinner.net. And then if they want to add me on one of the platforms, whether it be Facebook or Instagram or, follow my YouTube, just click, follow it, and there you go. One-stop shop. And speaking of that, there's a shop on there with all sorts of merch. So happy
There you
shopping.
go. There you go.
Yeah.
So can you like this might be a little bit too much, but I'm gonna try for it anyway. Can you tell us how did Norman Skinner become the dominant druid today?
About all that. Hey man, when I started off, I sucked bad. Like I was not there. I have a couple best friends that have some blackmail footage of me starting out. It was not that great, but you know what? It's with anything. You just keep at it, persistence, and you just practice. And for me, I just, I'm mainly self-taught. I had a small handful of lessons just to get the basics on what I need to do and how I need to do it properly. Other than that, I just, I pick things up quick. I try to be smart about it. Um, I remember something that I saw in an Ozzy Osbourne video way back, and he goes, "Yeah, I'm not the best bloody singer or whatever, right?" And I'm sitting there thinking, "No shit." And he's like, "But I surround myself with the best musicians I can find." So I took that to heart. I'm like, you know what? I don't want to waste my time with people that either don't have the talent or the drive. So I make sure that when I walk into a room, you know, I want to look around and go, these guys are either on my level or they're better than me. And they're making me feel like the weak link and I need to try harder. So, and that's it. And just be smart. I mean, I never got into this for fame or fortune. You know what I mean? So I just have fun with it. So at the same time, it's like I set small goals. I try to obtain them. I try to be business smart, pick up things where I can, and no egos, and just try to be cool to everybody and do what you can. So, I'm one of those guys. I could retire tomorrow and I'd have no bad feelings or anything. I'd just be like, okay, cool, that was fun. Which is scary
And
for
then
some
probably
guys. I could walk
and
away
then
like
probably
that.
right. And then probably at the end you'll go ahead and play music anyway.
I mean, at some point, the live thing and everything, it's going to catch up to me, and I'll just I'll be that guy that just does studio albums for a while, and then until I just say, all right, now I'm a retired old white dude. So.
Retired old white dude.
So
that's an insult to the legend.
I just want to enjoy it while I can, and it's the way it is for me anyway.
So we've touched on your on a little bit of history, and we've touched on a few of your untouched a few of your stories. Do you have any I guess I don't know if I should ask this, but and I guess we'll try this anyway. Are
Sure.
there any regrets? Are there any blessings personally that you would like to speak on?
Oh man, I got a million freaking regrets. I mean, there's bands that I feel like I wasted my time in, guys I played with where I'm like, I gave too much energy and time, and then they just, either backstabbed or were flaky. I mean, but things happen, you know what I mean? So there's if I could turn back, I definitely like wouldn't work with certain people. But you know what? That's the regret side. I mean, that's that I did, but they were situations that were beyond my control. As far as blessings go, though, I mean, I think I'm pretty blessed. I have no complaints. There's a lot of guys that don't even get. I mean, I know people that try and try and try, and they just can't get a band that will stick together. They can't. They're playing the same songs. They just can't get a demo recorded. You know what I mean? And who would I be to sit here and complain about anything? I mean, I've been lucky enough to have multiple great bands and worked with a lot of great musicians. I tour. I've released, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've released 16 albums. 16. There are big people that haven't even released 16 albums. So, I'm definitely blessed. I think it's hard work and maybe a little bit of luck, but so lots of blessings on my side. And but I'm an optimistic person. I try to be friendly to everybody, treat everyone the way that I want to be treated. I don't want to be that cock star. I've met too many heroes that end up total dicks.
Yeah, I have to say I've had my fill of people that have been heroes, and then you go and meet them, like, dude, and they're like, dude, go get me a drink. It's like, you know what? Fuck you, whatever.
Yeah, every time I make a new fan, I just consider them sort of a friend. I'm like, hey, if you're willing to take the time to listen to my music and like it and want to show me interest in it, I'm not just going to brush you off. I'm going to try to engage. You know what I mean? I always get scolded. I get scolded at shows because they're always saying, hey, you're supposed to save your voice. But I'm out there in the crowd all night long, just chatting it up with everybody. And I'm like, I'd rather engage everybody and have a show that maybe is a B+ performance rather than an A, rather than just shun everybody and go up and deliver a perfect show. You know what I mean?
Yeah, people think this is a business. A lot of people that are bigger than you, no offense,
No, there's a lot bigger than me.
are they technically see this as a business, and then all the little guys, like all the personal guys that are actually like you, like me, like anybody in the scene in general, we do this because we want to. We do this because it's a love. We don't do this because it's a business.
Right.
We're all like, oh, I'm making money off this, and I know I'm good. No, that's not what we do this for. We do this because we enjoy it. We love it. We are in the scene because we are with people that we love.
Right. I mean, the business aspect of it, I look at as one business to keep going, to keep moving up and up and up, to try to get a bigger fan base and bigger people that what's the word, represent you, things like that. Sure, that's business. Protecting yourself as a band or artist, that's business. But outside of that, you got to remember where you came from, and without your fans and friends and people that have supported you and that continue to support you, that can all go away really quick. So, sure, it's a business, but at the same time, honestly, it's a business to keep yourself being able to keep going. It's like it's a lot of these guys are like, oh, we need to make sure that we're touring and we sell an album and it goes well enough so we can continue to do another tour and we can continue to put out new albums.
That's not the way to do it.
I mean,
That's not living.
it's not. You have to. I mean, do it for the joy of it. I mean, be smart, and it'll just happen. I think, unless you suck, then it ain't gonna happen. I mean, because I've met different guys. I've met bands where they have all the business sense in the world and they're able to wheel and deal and work their way up. But I hear them and I'm like, oh my God, these guys are horrible. How did they get this far? Then on the flip side, I also see bands where they are so super talented and they never do anything. They never even leave their rehearsal place or they can't get anything booked because they have no business sense. So maybe it's a balance.
There you go. There you go.
That's
kind of actually what my dad tells me a lot. My dad's a big my guardian's big on my self-interest, and a lot of things that he says is that once you do something, once what you love becomes a business, it's not fun anymore, and it just stresses you out, and it's not something you love to do anymore.
That's true. Luckily, I haven't reached that point. I definitely, when I handle a lot of the business, I'm the guy between our management and the band, and then for Niviane, and then for all my other things, except for Imagika, I don't handle the business, the guitar players, but all my other 3 projects, or I should say 2, I don't really handle the HellScream either. But for Skinner and Elemantis, it's all me, and then I have to do a chunk of it for Niviane. And there's moments where it's just like, it gets stressful. Like this morning, we got a contract for a tour. I can't say with who, or when, but we were going to sign a new contract, and I look at it and it was not. Let's just say it was not a good contract overall, and it needed changes. But that's stressful. You know what I mean? Because now I gotta fire this thing back and say, to a much bigger band's, agency, hey, you need to change this, and that, which they did, which was cool because, they were valid. But things like that, I hate that I have to do that. I wish, but you can't always trust people, even if you have representation. You need to look over everything. You can't just be like, oh, it's going to be okay. So, but it gets stressful. But luckily, the fun outweighs those moments.
That makes sense. I have to say that. Hold on, I'm plugging in my charger. Come back here, you. What? I'm plugging in my charger. Hold on, 1 sec.
All good.
Hold on 1 sec. Okay, there we go. Okay, sorry about that. So I have to. Given your amount of experience in all of this, what advice would you give to again, the little guys or the people that look up to you?
Be smart. I mean, honestly, learn the business. Even though we were talking about business, you don't have to do all the business, but learn the business. I mean, pick up on things. Network. Be nice. Don't be this, we're a badass band and we're going to have this attitude and we're going to look this way. Just be a normal fucking person and network and make friends and support the people around you, and they'll support you. And then, that's the business side, and that's the advice I would say to work yourself up. On the musical side of things, only work with people that have the same goals and drive as you do. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself in a situation where they want to go this way and you want to go that way, and everything that you worked for it was for nothing. So make sure that you're with the same type of people that want to do the same things, and practice. Write some good songs, have an identity as far as sound goes and everything. So, don't just be another band that's going out there playing the same damn thing as everyone else, looking the same damn way as everyone else. Be unique. There's my advice. That one's free.
There you go. One of the ways that there's a saying that goes, and it's kind of coincides with what you said, where you went to find people as big as you, is that if you hang out with trash, you become trash. If you hang out with the rich, you will become rich.
Yeah, you definitely don't want no burnouts in your band. You know, because they're not going to help you. They're not going to help you go anywhere. Because in a band, right, it's a brotherhood or sisterhood. If you got a girl in the band, I've been in bands with females, but you're relying on each other, right? And if there's one person that's not pulling their weight, they're pulling you down. So
if you're not part of the problem, if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem.
exactly.
All right. Wow. we've been talking for almost, I think, 45 minutes. Wow. I'm satisfied. My
Right on.
friend, thank you for being my guest for HexHeart Promotions. This is live, so after I edit the probably amount of just the probably 20-30 minutes that was just nothing before this interview, because I'm pretty sure we did not have this interview for as long as 47 minutes. I will gonna go ahead and send you this link. It's
Sure.
gonna be on YouTube. So when I send it to you, you'll be able to send it to people you want to. And again, my friend, thank you.
Yeah, not a problem, man. Thanks for having me. I'll definitely promote it once I receive it.
All right, well, everyone, that was the one and only Norman Skinner the third of Niviane, Elemantis, HellScream, and the one and only Imagika. Thank you all, and as always, we make today.
Thanks, buddy. Take it easy.